Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Indy, and this is Tom right next to me. He's a community manager for Indie Game Business, and welcome to Indie Game Business. Unfortunately, we don't have the short beard Jay here today. We've just got the two long beards. So Jay is off gallivanting. Who knows what maybe he's doing Indie Game Business. That's probably what he's doing. But today we've got Joanie Kraut from Women's International, Women's in Games International, WIGI, right? That's what everyone calls it, WIGI. So, and we're talking about how Women in Games International is shaping the future. So, welcome, Joanie.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We're so happy to hear you. So, first question, Jay always likes to start off with that is what's your journey in the gaming industry?
Yeah, I kind of accidentally fell into the industry, which is always an exciting way to start. I started in accounting and finance, and I was helping mostly tech companies move over from paper pencil accounting into automated systems to be able to have accounting online instead of having all of that extra paper 10 key all that space. And I was working at Motorola as they were shifting from one system to another system. And I met a couple guys who were in esports, which was the weirdest thing. The idea of playing video games for a living just seemed really astronomical and crazy and exciting. And I had a mentor at the time, and every time I would talk to her, we would end up talking about gaming, and she was just like, this is not my realm. I don't know what we're talking about." I was at the point in my career where I really wanted to care about my job. I wanted to take that next step into more of a management or kind of a leadership role. And she said to me, what is the thing that gets you the most excited in the day? And that's going to be your people. That's going to be where you're happy. That's going to be where you're excited. And I said, my mouse. I was playing Warcraft at the time, and as a joke, my mom got me a mouse. That was the Warcraft mouse. She found it at Best Buy and thought it was so funny. And it was insane how much it improved my game, how much I was better at healing, and I didn't expect it. I thought it was going to be like a funny kind of a gimmicky thing, but it ended up being a game changer, literally. And so when I said my mouse, she was like, "Okay, who makes your mouse?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." And so I went home and I looked at my mouse, and it was a company called SteelSeries, and they work with esports professionals to actually create their gear to be that level of quality. And so I went back to work, and I was just like, "What is this SteelSeries?" And I was talking to the guys who were kind of in esports, and they were like, "That's the company." And I found out they were 10 minutes from my house, and they were hiring an accountant. So I immediately jumped ship and started working with them. Um, and I've tried to go to other industries after that, and it was my happy place.
You
That
just
work
got
hard, play
sucked
hard.
in.
Yeah, and
Sucked
that
in.
community, and like everybody wants to talk about gaming, and what are you playing is like the question that everybody's asking. And so it was that excitement in that community. And I was working in San Francisco when I found Women in Games International, and they were looking for somebody to help with finance, and I was just like, "Oh, this is my thing." And I wish I had that level of support and that mentorship from a woman early on in my career, and how different my career might have been, and how it would have shaped, my future. And so it's just been amazing to be able to work with just this global community, helping to build the programming, helping to have the right conversations and create that support. And worked on a few games more publicly, worked on a few games more privately, helped with different conversations around monetization strategy or finance, helped with, DEI efforts and getting, more diverse leadership. And it's where I want to be. It's the industry that really kind of, you get it if you get it.
Kind of lights a fire, right? On you.
Yeah.
So what is your position at Wiki there?
So I'm the CEO.
Okay.
So I started as finance, and I always kind of say I annoyed my way into CEO. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, we could be doing so much more. We're not asking for donations, or we're not monetizing some of these different pieces that we could be, helping with internal programs. Or we had two programs. They were both networking events, one at E3 RIP and one at GDC in San Francisco. So we had two networking events that were free to get into if you were in the two most expensive cities in the country. And so we were really only catering to upper middle class and often white women. And I wanted to change that. I wanted to create a new dynamic. I wanted to support more people. And so we always say our programming is available to absolutely anybody. Everybody can join. We want to have everybody at the table having those conversations together, and helping to support each other. A lot of people say, it's it was a male mentor who helped me understand that I need to be taking up more space. And so we don't want to stop people from learning from someone else. That's the whole, it's just sexism in an opposite direction. So we want to make sure that it's truly inclusive to everyone. Everyone has a space and everyone has the opportunity to learn from each other.
That's awesome. So speaking of that, what do you think? You think that was the biggest evolution in WIGI since you've been there?
Yeah, I think we went from in-person only programming to virtual programming. That was a huge jump. It really helped us reach more people. We're over 80,000 people worldwide now. We've really grown and increased representation and mentorship. And what does mentorship look like? We have different programming. Our Get in the Game program, we cover the cost of food, so per diem, flight, hotel, ticket to the conference, but we also have mentorship. So it's not just getting you a free ticket, but it's helping you make sure that you're there, make sure you're having the right conversations, you're introducing yourself in the correct way. I mean, just teaching somebody how to do an elevator pitch introduction has been we have 90% success rate, where 90% of our participants receive a job offer within 2 weeks of the program's close. When we went to GDC, we brought 11 people, and we had 3 people have job interviews at GDC, and we had 1 person actually get a job offer during GDC. So it's helping people understand how to have the right conversations, kind of that mentality of you don't know what you don't know. And so we just want to open those opportunities to kind of see where can you be doing something different, and how can you do something in a better way to kind of help elevate yourself. And again, taking up that space. There's a lot of you should be thankful for the job that you have mentality, and we don't believe in that. We believe that you should be thankful that you have the opportunity to kind of continue to move forward and support a company, but that's something that you can kind of continue to grow on and build.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, 2 things. The first thing, like you were talking about, you don't know what you don't know. Like there's a lot of stuff that is obvious to people that have been in the industry, like, oh, that's just what you do. That's what you know. But there's a lot of people that just don't realize they don't know that stuff, right? I think that's one of the reasons that Jay started IndieGameBusiness, was because like there's a lot of people asking questions, and it's like, oh, this is whatever. People need to know this stuff. The other thing is, so someone is interested in WIGI, they check out the website, like what service, I don't know, I'm not going to say services, what kind of things do you offer, and what does that process look like? Like what happens?
Yeah, so we have a Discord right now. It's very active. You can ask any questions. We have people saying, hey, can I get a portfolio review? Can I do a mock interview? We have a lot of recruiters worldwide who will jump in and look at your resume or do a mock interview with you just to make sure you're prepared. We have programming every Wednesday. So every Wednesday we have new content. We have interview, which is interviewing the interviewer. We talk to hiring managers or recruiters, and we just ask them the questions, what should I wear to an interview? How long should I take before I follow up with my application? Should I follow up with my application, and how? Do I reach out to somebody on LinkedIn? And how is the process done from your company? And each company kind of has different nuances and different ways of doing things. And so it's an opportunity to see kind of behind the curtain, and what are you doing, and what does it look like? What would make you throw away my resume? What would make you more excited about my resume? We also have our podcast cheat codes hosted by Tosh, and it's a conversation within different verticals and different concepts. So sometimes it's interviewing somebody and talking about their journey. Sometimes it's, right now she's doing a big thing on mental health and just kind of talking about what it means to be okay with not being okay. We've done a lot of things with layoffs and just kind of how to take that next step, but also to remind you to take that space to grieve your job and the fact that you got laid off. We have our power leveling series, which is held on Discord, which is meant for more difficult or uncomfortable conversations. So we don't need a whole bunch of people on LinkedIn giving us feedback. It's a space to actually come into Discord, have a real conversation. It's like an open office hours type of thing. Ask your specific questions, and let's see how we can help you and elevate you and kind of move things forward. And then we have open world dialogue, which is just an opportunity to really showcase powerhouses in the industry and what they're working on and what they're doing. Talk about different companies who are hiring, or talk about different initiatives that are happening within the industry that maybe people don't know about. So it's kind of giving that opportunity to be part of the conversation and really have that input. We also have a virtual mentorship program. We have our Get in the Game program. There's different opportunities that you can kind of get involved. And then we have a No Woman, No Panel initiative that we're really promoting. That we're not going to support your conference if you're not bringing everybody to the table to have a conference and have a conversation. So if you need help being either finding speakers, we can help you identify speakers, or if you are a speaker who's trying to get to a conference and you need support to get there, you can apply to actually get funding to go to a conference to be a speaker. 90% of our speakers have never been speakers, they're first-time speakers, and 100% of our speakers have been asked back to come back to a conference and continue conversations. So it's an opportunity to have your flight, hotel, food per diem, have some sort of accommodations to kind of help you get to these conferences, because we just want to see more people really showcasing their talent and what their expertise and what they know.
That is a lot of stuff, and that's awesome.
It is, yeah.
What,
I mean,
oh, you're echoing Tom somewhere. Oh, maybe
nope.
because you're not muted for me in the Discord. What I was going to say.
I'm not echoing everywhere.
Yeah, it's a big echo. It sounds like that's a lot of stuff, but as a CEO, it sounds like you, with just the way that you said all that, it sounds like you're deeply involved in every single one of those programs, not just the CEO overmining everything. And you know what I mean? That's awesome. Did you have something, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, you know, having the space for, you know, to be able to ask questions like, you know, what should I wear for my interview and stuff like that. You know, this is my first job in the gaming industry in any way, shape, or form. You know, I come from an IT background, so everything is very office professional, you know, suit, tie, that sort of stuff. And, you know, I was more than prepared to have my interview with Ash, the community lead, in, you know, a full suit. And she was like, not in this industry.
You got to wear your Crocs, man.
That was me too.
Not
So
quite,
I went from very
she was like, it's got to be comfortable, but not super slobby casual.
Exactly. Yeah. No. When I was working very corporate, and I was doing public accounting and trying to help with, you know, reconciliation and moving systems over. And then when I applied at SteelSeries, I showed up in my interview outfit, which was a button up with a blazer, and I had heels on, and I got there and they thought I was a lawyer because they were doing like patents and stuff. And so they got me water, and like all these guys were just like falling over themselves to try and help make me comfortable. And I was like, I'm here for an entry level accounting job. Like, I don't know what's going on. But they were wearing basketball shorts and their favorite gaming t-shirt. And so my very first time I attended DICE, I had no idea what the awards were. I was kind of new to the industry and just trying to figure stuff out. And I didn't pack a nice outfit. So I didn't go to the DICE Awards, even though I had a ticket donated. And so it was one of those things that we want to, when we're doing our Get in the Game program, it's not just giving you a free ticket, but let's have a conversation about how you should pack or what you should, you know, kind of, we always say, bring your most authentic self. It's not about fitting into a specific box. You can't Google games industry attire and know what to wear. It's really bringing yourself, and that's really what people want to see. And so being able to have that space to have those conversations and have people very nervous. A lot of times it's their first time on an airplane, even, you know, talking about the 3-1-1 rule with the liquids, and just trying to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and confident to walk into a room and really introduce themselves and take up that space.
Well, I had to fact check your, you can't Google it, but so check it out. The number one thing besides the sponsored stuff and the AI stuff was, it was a subreddit, business casual for game dev industry, ? Goth preferred.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, this is amazing. So can you tell us a success story that really shows the impact of WIGI's work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had a recent grad who started off as a mentee on our Get in the Game program, started off as a mentee on our virtual mentorship program, felt finally confident enough to start speaking, that applied to our Get in the Game program and got it, was at our Get in the Game program, really learned how to introduce with the elevator pitch, and she was really just nailing it. Got a job offer at GDC, went on to have a career, and 3 years later became a mentor herself. And so now she is actually mentoring people within our mentorship program, and she's a big part of the continuing conversations in the IGDA and just kind of moving things forward. And so it's that growth. You were asking me, have you been here since the beginning? No, it's our 20-year anniversary. I haven't been here since 20 years, but I've been here for about 6 years. And being able to see somebody go from a nervous kind of meek person in her shell to knowing who she is, and just got promoted again in her job. And it's just a really great opportunity to really see kind of how impactful the programs can be, and how much, she'll come back and say, hey, when we did this program, I really liked how we did X, Y, and Z. This other company is kind of doing it like this. Maybe we could try and pivot in this way. And it's that feedback. It's that continuing to grow, and just kind of seeing how much people can really take away from the program, but also how much when they learn, they also bring back their perspective and their feedback, and they feel comfortable doing so, to kind of help elevate and lift the next generation up. We used to say we are everybody from 18 to 65, and we had somebody reach out and say, can you say 75? Because I'm over 65. So it's everybody from entry level to post retirement that is interested in kind of helping elevate and move that forward. One thing that I'm really, really proud of is I did start in esports, and I started with that community and that mentality and that like very competitive nature, I'll say. And my very first esports event that I attended, I had people asking me, are you somebody's sister or are you somebody's girlfriend? Like, why are you here? But the idea that I was there because I wanted to be was just like mind blowing. It's just astronomical. That couldn't possibly be. And so we ran a virtual mentorship program to talk to how to get more women into esports and the different pathways into esports beyond just a pro player. So we talked about shoutcasting and hosting and TOs and just these different ways, marketing, even just different ways to kind of get involved in the esports industry. And I was a little nervous because there's not a ton of women in esports right now. And we had the most male applicants apply to speak or to be mentors or to just offer guidance or support. Like, it was the whole industry that wanted to see it changing. It wasn't just the women saying we need more support. It was men saying you do, and you should also know X, Y, and Z. And I've been there, and let me teach you, and I want to support this and help make this change. So I think that's one of like my favorite kind of takeaways is it's not just, us screaming into a room full of ourselves or like this empty void. It's people saying, yeah, I agree. And how can I help? And I think that's been my favorite takeaway from all of our programming.
That's awesome. Well, gaming is for everybody. It's not just it's not the boys club. It's not any particular religion or race or gender or anything. Gaming is everybody. So yes. So what
is
are
one of the only truly inclusive things in this world is doesn't matter who you are, gaming.
Yeah, well, I think I personally, I just think everything's for everybody. So,
It should be. But
yeah. So what are some specific challenges that women and marginalized genders face in the gaming industry today? Even though more and more people and it's more open, there's still challenges, obviously.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of challenges. I think the thing that we try to focus on really, especially with our programming, is how can you do your best so that you know that you did as much as you could to help, empower yourself or to take that next step. And then if it's not moving forward, if you still can't get the promotion, if you still can't find a way, like you're killing it at work, you have your expertise and you are doing all the right things and having the right conversations. We talk about, transitioning to the next role. So I know when I was in a specific company and I was taking on more and more, and I just kept accepting extra work because I thought that would show that I was worthy of a promotion or a raise. And then I just hoped that the company would know my internal most hopes and dreams. And then I would get frustrated because I was really overworked and overwhelmed. And when I quit, they had to hire 6 people to replace me because my workload was so astronomical. But I never really asked for a raise. I never had that conversation. I never said I should have a different title or pay. And so a lot of it is really teaching people how to navigate that and have those conversations. So, like we said, you don't know what you don't know. It's having that space to say, hey, I just got this job. How do I negotiate my salary? They offered me this, but it's really low. Okay, well then talk to them about why it's low and what you think that number should be. approaching conversations with a solution. So if you start a conversation and you say, hey, I'm really overworked as a manager, I hear I need less work, not I need more pay. So making sure that you're having the right conversations and that you're presenting it in a way that is the actual solution you're looking for and not expecting someone to read your mind or know the solution. So I think the biggest thing for us is just how can you make sure everybody faces issues, everybody has problems, everybody, there's a lot of pushback for different reasons on different scales, but how do you make sure that you are the best professional kind of forward facing and making sure that you're having the right conversations and driving the change that you want to see. And so it's really supporting yourself, but also making sure that you have the community, making sure that you have the people to ask those questions to, and then helping the next generation. If you see somebody, you're hiring somebody and you know that they're about to get lowballed on an offer, can you help make sure that that doesn't happen? Kind of lift as you climb mentality of supporting people as you're supporting yourself and accepting support about you. So I think that's our biggest thing right now is having that community, having that network, having that opportunity to just, say into the wind, hey, I have this thing and I don't really know what my next step or what my approach should be. And having people say, hey, I've been in that same position. Let me help you. Here's what I did. Here's
Yes.
maybe what you could do. And that's
we definitely got to lift each other up, right?
Yeah,
We got to help each other. All right. So there is a question that's posted from YouTube. I just want to get feedback on jobs. They're certified Unity development. Certificate expires in December. Worked for a startup for 3 years on a product that never shipped. The question is, how can I stand out with getting interviews when I have not much to show for it? I'm going to answer, but you can answer too, obviously, of course. First thing, go into Indie Game Business Discord, Indie Game Business, or discord.gg/IndieGameBusiness. You will get tons of feedback from that question. I would say also that you should make some stuff for your portfolio. Yes. Thanks, Tom. Make some stuff for your portfolio, right? That's the number one thing. But Joanie, do you have some feedback on that?
Yeah, don't let it go because it didn't ship. That doesn't mean that you didn't do the work. So showcase, like you said, showcase what you did, showcase how you did it. So maybe you don't have something from that game that you could showcase, but you could still go into Unity and create something that you could put on your portfolio, put it on a website. We always say if you do art or if you have some like a specific thing that you can show me, put it on a website, link it in your LinkedIn, have it in your resume so that you can kind of showcase it. The other thing we talk about a lot is networking. We actually had one of our mentees show up at GDC with a tablet, and she walked into each of the companies she wanted to work for, and she said, this is what I do, hire me, and it got her a job. So make sure you're networking, make sure people know what you're doing. It doesn't just have to be on your website or your portfolio or your resume. Post about it, post it on socials, get traction, become known for this is what you do. It can become your personal brand. So, hey, look at this thing that I drew. Hey, look at this thing that I animated. Hey, look at this thing that I created, and then talk about your process or talk about what it is that you're working on. Make it something that when people go to check you out on socials, they see the work that you're doing. And it's been a huge game changer for a lot of our applicants.
Yeah, socials, super important. Another thing,
that's pretty nuts thing to do. You're at GDC, you walk up to it, all the companies you want to work for. This is what I do.
That's how I've gotten jobs. I've gotten gigs that way. You just like, hey, here's my stuff. I want to work for you. But like in a portfolio, what I learned when I was in animation, because I graduated from Animation Mentor in 2011, something like that. Anyways, they said, never put mediocre work in your portfolio. I mean, if you want to showcase it and do videos and whatever, that's cool. But your portfolio, you want to have like your very best work, your second best work at the beginning, like especially if it's a video, second best work, really good work, and then at the end you want your very best work. So that way they like, oh wow, check it out from the beginning, and then at the very end it kind of gives them a reminder of, oh yeah, this dude's really good or this person's really good. But don't put like work that you go because the saying is you are only as good as your worst work. So that's what I learned, and that is because that's people will judge you by the worst work that you did. So you got anything about it, Tom?
No.
All right. Okay.
I mean, my experience can't really apply to this, unfortunately.
Well, you're
'Cause-
learning too. You know what?
Yeah.
You're here. This is the best place to learn. You've probably learned more in the past several months that you've been here.
I've definitely learned a lot in the last 2 months.
That's awesome.
Considerably more than I did in 3 years at my last job. So,
well, this place is all about learning. Okay, so another question: what does mentorship? Because you've talked a lot about mentorship. What does that look like in the WIGI community?
So we talk a lot about there's a difference between being a mentor, being a sponsor, and being a coach. And so we ask people to be mentors. And so mentorship is really just sharing your experience. How did you do the thing? And it's not necessarily coaching somebody. It's not telling them how to do it better. It's just sharing your experience or your insights or your expertise and what it is that you have done for yourself. Versus a coach tells you how to do it better, and a sponsor tells everyone else how great you are at doing whatever it is. So our mentorship program is really focused on what is your journey? How did you get into the games industry? Where did you, find kind of pivot holes to climb, or how did you have that next conversation? How did you negotiate your salary? Did you just take the lower salary? What did you learn from that? And so it's having a space to just ask people, especially people you admire, how did you do the thing that you did? So we always say our cheat codes podcast is like mentorship. It's like a slice of mentorship because it's asking somebody about their journey. It's asking them how they did the thing that they did. A lot of women that we interview actually say, I made my role. When I first started here, they thought they needed X, Y, and Z, but I showed them that they actually needed all these other things that I could bring to the role. And so it's finding space to understand that you don't have to smush yourself into a box. You could help people see kind of the new opportunities and the new ways forward. So our mentorship programs are 3-week mentorship programs. One of the things that when I was really researching, if we're going to do a mentorship, everybody's got a mentorship program. I want it to be a real mentorship. I want it to be amazing. I want it to be impactful. And the two things that I found that mentorship programs fail the most is either one, the mentor doesn't know what their expectations are. They don't actually understand what they're supposed to do. They just signed up to be a mentor because it sounded good. And then 2, when the program runs too long. So I don't want to be your mentor forever. If I am your mentor forever, one of us isn't doing our job because you should outgrow me. There should be a point in time where you're like, thank you. I've learned all I can. I need to kind of move forward. And so we make sure that we have a train the trainer portion of the program. We talk to the mentors. What is it that we expect from you? What are the conversations you can have? We don't feel like you have to coach them or you have to sponsor them. We're not asking you to help this person necessarily get a job by actually getting them a job, but we're encouraging you to teach somebody how to apply for a job or how to interview for a job and having those conversations. And then we really focus then on having kind of a short mentorship program where you meet with your mentor 3 times for an hour. And then the 3-week program is sessions. So we have a customized workbook that we create for every single mentorship program. We go through the workbook together for the first, while of the program. We have a panel discussion or a workshop or a keynote speaker, like somebody kind of come in and chat with everyone. And then we have a space for answering questions, walking through everything that we covered, and then having networking, having a space to kind of have breakout sessions and networking. And so it's a very specific program. It's a very intentional program. We have different tracks based on what the sponsor wants to see or what we need in the industry. We've had everything from how to get into esports beyond a pro player to how to get into the industry, just stepping foot into the industry, going from mid-manager to C-suite or VP positions. We've had a lot of really amazing conversations. And then it's also led to even more programming. So we had one where somebody said, this is really great, but I'm trying to get funding for my studio. And I was like, oh, that would be a good program. And so we made a mentorship program that was all about pitching the right pitch deck and how to have the right conversations and stop apologizing for taking up space. And, when somebody introduces themselves and they're confident, they'll just say, hi, my name is whatever, and this is what I do. Versus when you have a 20-minute intro that's like, and I also worked here and I worked here and I did this and I also worked here. Like, stop justifying your intro. Just tell me who you are so I can have a conversation with you. And it was a space to say, hey, I really need help with creating my pitch deck, creating what I say to people. And then we took it a step further and we actually brought people to Gamescom and set up business meetings with investors. And so now you have a pitch deck that you're comfortable with. You have the conversation piece. You know how to answer the questions. And now you're actually in front of investors and you can see how that works and what that means, and helping people actually secure funding. And then the people who secure funding are now turning around and saying, hey, I figured out how to do it because of WIGI. come over here and talk to me. And now they're the mentors on the program. So I can't remember your question is, I'm sorry, but it's been amazing.
No, that's all right. That's incredible. So if somebody wants to
mentorship, yep.
Yeah, mentorship. That was it. What it was. No, that was an amazing answer. I was just fascinated with the whole thing. So somebody wants a mentor. Somebody wants it. Does it cost money? How's that work?
No. All of our programs are 100% free to access. That's very important to me. I don't ever want a financial barrier to stop somebody from getting support. That's silly. So we do. If you go to getwiggy.com, there's a get involved drop down, and you can actually sign up to volunteer to be a speaker or a mentor if you're interested in mentorship. Unfortunately, our mentorship programs are based on sponsorship. So just follow us on social, sign up for our newsletter, and you can see every time we have a new opportunity to apply to attend a program, you can jump right in to apply. We are working with DevCom and Gamescom right now. So we do have some availability for tickets to get to DevCom and Gamescom. They have an amazing mentorship program that they're kind of pulling together, and then we add on our Get in the Game program to make it happen. So just head over to our website and you can kind of see where to sign up. Follow us on socials for anything, application related that you want to apply for. But we do have a lot coming up in Q3 and Q4. So definitely sign up for our newsletter and see what's going on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Handy Girl says, was a mentee. Can confirm it was free and amazing.
Yeah.
Here's another question. I haven't read the question yet. I'm just going to pop it up just because, I'm rolling the dice. But no, it looks like a good one. Hi, Joanie. I work with graduate students in game 3D modeling and VFX. What has been your most rewarding experience in your career path? What do you feel is the best way moving forward to support graduates early in their careers in the industry? Man, that's a really good question.
Oh man.
I'll leave that up. It's a little to absorb. First question.
Rewarding. Yeah.
Most rewarding.
I just love seeing people blossom. I love our Get in the Game program because everybody's nervous when they start. And we go around the table and we say, hey, here's how you introduce yourself. It's a 3-step approach. What is your name? Don't give me, my legal name is Joanie Kraut, but you can call me Joanie. Tell me what you want me to remember and what I should call you. My name is Joanie. Tell me what you do. I'm a CEO at WIGI, and tell me what you want. I'm here running a mentorship program. I want to introduce you to a mentee. If you just have that quick 3-step approach, hi, my name is whatever, I'm a recent graduate and I'm trying to get a job in the industry, people will light up. They want to talk to you. Most people want to offer you mentorship or guidance. Saying that what you want out of the conversation up front is one of the most powerful tools. And so seeing people come in and they're nervous, and we do the orientation online before they get on the plane to make sure they're comfortable and they packed everything correctly. We do another orientation to just talk about what it is that they can expect. And we walk through the agenda and we walk through everything we're going to do. They're nervous. They might not even go on camera when we're doing orientation because they're overwhelmed. When they get there, when they actually start the first conversation, they're nervous. And we talk about introducing ourselves, and we go around the table and we introduce ourselves. Every time you see me, I will start that intro and I'll say, hey, my name is Joanie. I'm the CEO at WIGI. I'm here running a mentorship program. I would love to introduce you to our mentees. And they have to respond back with their intro so that they can practice that intro over and over and over. So when you meet somebody you're so excited to meet and you get overwhelmed, you know your intro, you practiced it, you're ready to go. And seeing somebody go from not turning your camera on during orientation to having a conversation with the CEO at the company that they have been dreaming of and getting an offer for a job because they were so articulate and they were able to express their excitement. People want to hire people who are excited about their game. Stop being embarrassed that you're excited about their game. Go talk to them about how excited you are about their game. And seeing that growth and that opportunity for somebody to really just come out of their shell, that's my favorite part. That's definitely the most rewarding. Whether or not you get a job right then and there, it's that opportunity to see, I know that you can do it. I taught you how to fish, and I know that you're going to be okay for the rest of, you're never going to go hungry. Like it's that space and that opportunity. The most impactful thing for especially recent graduates, stop feeling like you have to be perfect before you open your mouth. I think that's my biggest thing, and start networking. My network has gotten me roles and opportunities because they knew I was good at the thing. And so, I do fractional CFO work. I help with monetization strategy. I help with financial strategy. People will say, oh, you're stuck here, call Joanie. And I get a call from somebody that I didn't even know they were starting a studio. And so it's having that network of people who support you, who you want in your corner, who you have in your corner, who are vying for you and who are speaking on your behalf, that sponsorships, telling people how well you can do the thing. That's one of the most important things in my career. And, you know, even somebody said, oh, hey, have you ever done this? And I was like, no, I've never done that, but it's finance. And they say, well, I'm sure you can learn it before you talk to so-and-so. They're going to call you on Tuesday. Okay. And they start Googling, how am I going to have this conversation? And so it's having that support system. And when you go through a layoff, having that support system, when you go through a promotion, having people excited for you, when you hit an achievement, you get a new certification, you get a new step forward, being able to post that on socials, build your brand, build your personal brand by posting all of your accomplishments, posting everything you're working on, posting about how you're doing the thing. Make that your personal brand as a hardworking person who continues to achieve and move forward and excel. And use that community, use that network, meet people, go to the networking event, even if you're tired, go talk to people, go see what other people are working on, and be part of that space. I would say is the biggest support that we've especially seen with recent grads, for sure.
Wow, you were super inspiring.
Mm.
You know,
So
uplifting, teaching. If you know, oh, you don't know how to do something, call Joanie. She will help you figure it out. That's awesome.
And so I can't tell you the number of times I've had people call me and say, do you know about such and such? No. Oh, well, I told this person that you did. Okay, I guess I'm learning this now.
Yep.
Here we go. Here's another question from Twitch. Handy Girl 90 says, does everyone need a personal brand, or is it that more for people-based or related? Or is that more for people-based or related roles?
I would say everybody needs a personal brand. If you're doing animation and there's a new game coming out and they need somebody for animation and they go to your profile and they see that you can do the specific animation, you could potentially be an immediate hire. Being able to showcase your expertise, being able to showcase what it is that you know how to do, that being your personal brand is huge. We use LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn kind of seems to be the one that we go back to. So having it on LinkedIn, being able to showcase, hey, I'm a speaker over here and I did this thing over here, or I got the certification, post it, take up that space, let people celebrate with you. I know for me, I'm finance, so it was always like my thing, and so I didn't really post a lot because it's like, nobody cares about finance. But then when you are stuck or when you do have a question, you want to know that you're talking to somebody who actually gets it and is excited to kind of have those conversations with you, rather than somebody who just has the finance for 10 years. Like, cool, do they actually care? And so having that personal brand of whatever your personal brand is, being your most authentic self, and putting it out there that you are the expert or you are the person who you should reach out to. It's definitely helped with promotions. It's helped with, kind of moving things forward and having different conversations. It also helps you create that community. Wow, that's really cool. How did you do that? Is a really great conversation to have with somebody that you might work with them in the future. And then, maybe they have a job at the company you're looking for. And then, hey, you should call this person because they showed me how to do it online when we were talking on socials. So I would personally say every single role, you should have a personal brand and make sure it is your authentic self and the way that you talk. You don't need to use ChatGPT to make a post. You can, but make sure that it's your voice that's coming through, and create that space for yourself online that gives you the ability to speak to your role. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be giving advice every time you post, but letting people know what you're working on and what you're excited about definitely helps, especially when you're applying for roles.
That's good. The jargon is thought leader, right? Isn't that what it is? People want to look for thought leaders, right? That's the term people use, right? So is that going to be one of your programs now, is teaching people how to make their own personal brands?
So we do talk about that when we do our how to get your first step in the industry. We talk a lot about personal branding. We talk a lot about posting on socials. We talk about taking up space. So, a lot of times people are told you should just be thankful that you even have a job. Screw that mentality. And so we talk about posting it on socials. Hey, I just did this thing. I just got this, whatever. So my stupid story that I'll tell you is, I got a CEO of the Year award the first year I was a CEO because I transformed WIGI so much, going from just 2 programs to we ran over 90 programs in a year. We did a lot of virtual content. We really focused on women, non-binary, femme-identifying, and allies. So we're really bringing more people to the table. We created more mentorship, and we created more just opportunities to kind of get in front of people. And when I got the email, I deleted it because I thought it was a joke. And when I got the email again following up with me, and then they told me who nominated me, I was so embarrassed, and I thought, this is silly and weird, and who says that and who does that. And then I got encouraged from a social media person at the time. They were like, you have to post it. You have to post this. You have to let people know. And this is good for the company. And as soon as it was good for somebody else, I was like, okay, I'll post it because it's good for the company and it's good branding and whatever. And so I posted it, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited that I won this thing. And I cringed, and I drank a glass of wine before I actually hit send, and I posted it. And I was like, oh, this is terrible. And how gross is this?
Dutch courage, why not?
I had so many people reach out to me and congratulate me, or say like, well deserved, or like, yeah, this, of course it is. Of course you got this because of all the work you've done. And it was kind of that moment of like, oh, I have a community. I have this support system. I have these people who are excited for me, who want to see me succeed and excel. And that felt really good. And so that's one of the things we talk about in the program. It might feel cringy or embarrassing, or you don't want to, but when you post it and you see how many people respond in such a positive way, that's a huge piece. And that's also part of your personal brand. It's taking up that space. It's letting people know what you're working on and what you're excited about. And it's allowing people to be excited with you. And that really helps with your networking. So, yeah.
You know what's interesting is in video games, the majority of people are trolls, right?
Yeah.
But in the video game industry, people want to celebrate with you. People want to lift you up. People, even if they're competing companies over the same thing, they help each other. And that is just so, I've seen that time and time again.
Noticed,
yeah,
certainly in the last couple of months is, yeah, if you're only seeing gaming from a gamer perspective, yeah, everyone's a troll. But seeing it from the other side, it's like, actually, the industry itself is so supportive. It's crazy. I mean,
and everybody knows, like all the publishers, they all know each other, right? All the different publishers, everybody just knows each other. They're all friends.
Yeah, it's like, I heard something the other day. It was like, oh yeah, I was just chatting to so and so from this publishing company. I'm like, how do you know that person? It's insane. The cross network is amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I remember my board being like, wait, you got Google and Microsoft to work on the same program together? And it was like, yeah. They were like, did you ask them? Did they know?
You would be surprised how often they work together. It's unbelievable.
Like, I'm the new Fortnite. I can get all different IPs working together. So Jacob says, I feel cringe posting on LinkedIn. Well, stop it. Stop it. That's the best advice you get. Yep. Stop it. Stop feeling cringe.
Keep doing it.
I have the hardest time. I'll send this up to my social media manager. Like, can you post this so I can repost it? Because I don't want to have to post it. Like, I totally get that. But honestly, it's been a game changer for networking. And then people say, oh, I saw you post whatever on LinkedIn. Can we talk about it? Because I want to sponsor a program, or I want to have, kind of continue that conversation. So it might feel cringe, but especially if you're applying for a job or you're looking to move your career forward, it's a really great space to do it.
Yeah, and there's a big difference between bragging and then celebrating successes. You know what I mean? So, Handy Girl, another one. Isn't it true that a shocking number of folks in the industry aren't actually gamers?
Oh, I don't know. I hope not. That's gross.
I mean, what would be the point in working in video games if you're not a gamer?
Honestly, I haven't met anybody that they might not be a hardcore gamer or play lots of PC games, or maybe they just play on their phone. But I don't think I've really ever met anybody. Maybe if they're like corporate in some larger company or something. But as far as indie games or smaller
VA,
yeah, I'm a programmer for games. I'm a programmer for games, but I don't play games. I don't know. I've never.
No, I don't know. I know a lot of people have a hard time admitting they're a gamer, it seems. So, oh, I'm not a gamer, I just play on my phone. You're a gamer,
You're a
and
gamer.
that still counts. So maybe it's
And it doesn't have to
people
be
not
a video
identifying.
game either. It can be a board game or a
Oh
card
yeah.
game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we are
Still a
really,
gamer.
one of the biggest things that I wanted to pull in is we were really focused on video games and media, but because I come from esports, I knew that there was a need for support. Video games, just research.
We all say
I
that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Joanie, but
Oh,
that
we
is
all say
me.
that. Okay, so anyways, back to what you're saying. Sorry.
oh, so we were just video games and media. Because I come from esports, I wanted to support esports, and then we had people reach out and say nobody supports board games, and so we are actually video games, esports, and board games and tabletop. So it's across the board. We're trying to just get more women in the industry. We're working with Wizards of the Coast right now, and just really finding ways to kind of elevate and continue to create those opportunities to kind of share. Oh, sorry, I thought that was another question. Chris.
No. That's awesome. Okay, so Nudicus, the NDNB, is that like a game or something, or is that just like your streaming username for real? Because that's crazy. Sometimes I tell myself that my excessive time playing video games is just research, and that's what I said. We all say that exact same thing. Anytime we're playing a game,
I like Handy Girl's response.
Yeah,
It's professional development.
right? I had to spend this money to get this game because I had to study the NPCs. Okay, so how can small studios or indie teams get involved with or benefit from Women in Games International?
We always try to support people at every stage, but one of the biggest things we've been working with indies and startups is supporting with funding and how do you pitch to get more funding? At what point does it make sense to start reaching out for funding? We also have pro bono lawyers, so when you do get a contract or you get an offer, make sure you know what you're signing. We've watched people accidentally sell their IP, so make sure that you understand the full context before you sign anything. If it seems too good to be true, it might be too good to be true. We've also seen people get lowball offers and they take them just to kind of help fill a gap, and they don't realize what they're signing, and they end up signing away a portion of their company for not enough money for it to make sense. So we have pro bono legal support. We have conversations around, pitches and how to approach conversations and approach investors. We also have resources around what does each tier mean. So what does it mean when you do a friends and family raise? Making sure you have to pay that back. And what does it mean when you do, Series A, or what are all the steps? What does it look like? We also do a lot with supporting finding people to fill roles. So we have a job board. We post our jobs on Discord, so it's a great space to kind of continue to just let people know what you're doing, what you're working on, and also hire people from the WIGI community. So we support just kind of helping people find roles if you're looking to hire somebody. And then we have this great community online. So it's, hey, I'm really stuck right here. I'm really frustrated. It's a really lonely world being an entrepreneur. So having a space to actually say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm working on, I feel really stuck, and having somebody else say, oh, I was stuck there before, let's talk, and having that mentorship and conversation. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we offer is that opportunity to kind of access other people in the industry who are in the same position.
That's awesome. It's in the remote world, it's kind of lonely working remotely. It does get that way sometimes. Yeah, I talk to people online, but honestly, I'm just here in my office all day. My wife is home all day with me, and but it's kind of lonely. Like I need to go out and touch grass every once in a while. So yes, for sure. So how does WIGI measure the success of its programs?
Ooh, usually my sponsors tell me how they're going to measure it. So we're really just trying to reach as many people as we can in an impactful way, and we focus on sort of the KPIs for each of the programs as we set them up. So our Get in the Game program, that's focused on getting people in the industry, how many people actually got a job. Our Get in the Game program that was focused on funding, how many people actually got funded. Mentorship program focused on getting more people in the esports industry, how many of the participants actually got jobs within esports. And so it's a focus on how many people were impacted in the way we intended to impact them. But then also, how many times do people come back? So 100% of our mentors have requested to come back and be a mentor in the future. And I feel like that's a huge KPI that not a lot of companies can say. all of our mentees are constantly applying to do more programs after they finish their first program. So I was talking about somebody went from a virtual program to being a mentee on the Get in the Game program, who is now a mentor on a virtual program. And so it's, you know, that life cycle of do you see that we're trying to create content and trying to create impact? And if you feel like we're doing it well, then do you want to come back and kind of work with us? So we actually had a mentee who was on a program who's now a mentor and just joined our advisory board. And so it's seeing that life cycle, seeing somebody excel because of the content that they were able to get access to and the mentorship and guidance. So yeah, we're really proud of how much we've done, especially at, you know, last 20 years. It's our 20th anniversary, and we really feel like we're making an impact and helping to change perspectives, both from an industry and from an individual, and empower women to make sure that they are being heard and that they are being seen, and they're in the spots that they should be in, making decisions and making games and running studios. So.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing. Everyone, we got about 10 minutes left, so drop some questions in there. I've got a list of them. We haven't even went through like
say Dan's got a list nearly a mile long.
I haven't even got 10% of the questions I have. So what are some upcoming goals or projects that WIGI is working on in 2025 and 2026?
So 2025 is our 20th anniversary. Our big goal for this year is to raise $5 million. And the point is to set up an endowment and a scholarship fund. And we want to just empower people for the next 20 years of programming. So it's creating programming that is sustainable, that we don't have to say, sorry guys, we can't run a mentorship program this quarter because we don't have enough money. We could continue to run those mentorship programs. We could increase the number of people we bring to the Get in the Game programs. The number one complaint with our Get in the Game program is I wasn't accepted. And we're bringing GDC, thanks to sponsorship through Meta, we actually brought 20 people to GDC, and we still had people reaching out saying it's not enough, we want to come too. And so it's people seeing the impact and the opportunity and wanting to get involved. So if we're able to run this $5 million, or able to raise this $5 million, we can set up that endowment to continue to support the programming. We can set up the scholarship fund to really make sure that we're getting even more people into the programs. And that's kind of our biggest focus right now. I know we're going to be at DevCom and Gamescom. It's really continuing those conversations and continuing to evolve the programs. We don't ever want to just run one program because it worked in the past. We want to continue to run programs in a way that is impactful and meaningful to the people on the program that day. And so it's getting feedback. It's asking people, what else could we be doing? Where are you not supported, and how can I help? And just kind of continuing to evolve as we are needed.
That's awesome. Awesome. We've got another question from Handy Girl. Always good questions. Do you ever publish, for lack of a better term, case studies like that example of mentee to mentor to member?
We have been asked to do white papers. We just don't really have the bandwidth right now. So it's just me kind of running everything, and then we have 3 contractors that are helping to support stuff, and then our amazing board of directors and advisory board. So it's not something we've prioritized right now, but it is a conversation that continues to happen. We do have our annual statistics where we talk about the impact we're making. We helped over 7,000 people last year alone get jobs or within the industry. How many people we serve with our programming, and I can tell you how many people attended our networking event, things like that. But we don't necessarily publish the research right now because we want it to make sure that if we do that, it is top quality, and we just haven't really prioritized that. But it is definitely a conversation, and I have all the stats. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out to me, and I can tell you where we're at. But not like a white paper or anything like that at this time.
I feel like you could probably just pull those stats right out of your brain.
I love stats.
I love stats and numbers.
I love numbers.
I do not like numbers at all. I do a numbers goblin. Hey, that would be a good game right there. Number goblin. Go around like.
But I'd be the only one who played it. Yeah.
Right. That's funny. So, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start their own advocacy group?
Ooh, yeah. Let's talk. I've helped a couple nonprofits who were very focused on a specific niche that they were like, how do you kind of navigate nonprofits? getting a 503 status is a pain. It's painful. We do have legal people who are offering pro bono support that could kind of help you file for it, but it does cost money as well. If you're looking to start something, I always say just start, just do it. Don't overthink it, and post that you want to start it, and try to get people involved with helping you start it. So I'm not good at like graphics, and so when I have something that I need to work on, I reach out to a team of people and I just say, hey, I have a concept, I have an idea, can you help me kind of bring it to life? And so it's fine knowing what you're good at and then asking for help in the areas that you're not good at. Creating programs, I can create programs all day long. I love creating programs, and I kind of know the things that have worked and haven't worked in the past. So if you're looking to create a program, make sure you're working with somebody who has experience creating programs. It's just do the thing. It's create the community. It doesn't necessarily have to be a named company right away or a nonprofit right away. Let it be a concept. Let it be a community, and then let your community kind of guide you into where that makes the most sense. There's lots of different nonprofit statuses as well. So, 501c3 versus a 501c6. There's membership based. There's foundations. There's a lot of opportunities to kind of create something and drive impact without maybe having a brand right away. So I would say start with what it is you're trying to achieve. Know what your goal is, and then just do it. Don't overthink it, and let people jump in to help you with the things that you need help with, whether that's branding or marketing or finances or getting partnerships, and make that community, make that space, and try it. And if it doesn't work, try a different way.
Right. Like get people talking about it, start a Facebook group, a Discord server, right? And then the people that will join will be people that are for that, and they will want to help you. Yes, that's good.
So hearing you say just do it reminds me of what one of my old managers used to say, and that was JFDI. Just fucking do it. So hearing you just say, like, reiterate that, it's okay, maybe they're onto something.
Yeah, just do it. There's a lot of advice of people like, well, I want to get a really good computer before I start making a game, and I want to learn this. And no, just take your junky laptop, make whatever game you can. I mean, it could be a box jumping on a line, whatever. Just make it.
You can create a game on a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
That in order to actually play it, yeah, you do kind of need a much better machine, but you can make the game. You don't need the beast of a machine in order to make it.
Yeah, just do with what you got. If you're not an artist, use a box. So here's a good question for you. If you could change one thing about the games industry overnight, what would it be?
Oh, I just wish everybody had $1 million. I think right now our industry is in a really interesting spot where it comes to being very selective with funding, and I think there's a lot that's happening to kind of help shift that. So there's a lot of, you were saying just do it, use Raspberry Pi. There's Dorian, which is another great platform to do narrative-based games, and that can help you with, financing and this monetization strategy of selling anything from NFTs to just kind of finding ways to pull in more revenue. I think we're in a really interesting kind of turning point right now, and I'm excited to see where we land in 3 years right now. But I think the thing that I would change about the industry is just kind of finding new ways to move things forward and getting that collective opportunity to learn from each other. I think if the right minds came to the table right now and just had, this is how I did it, or this is what did work or didn't work conversations, it would be amazing to kind of see the shift in what we could do together. And it's, we talk about how it's like a family and we're all just a big family, and that's great, but families fight. So be careful with who you pull into your family circle. And I think we're in a really interesting point, though. I think there's a lot of new games coming out. There's a lot of opportunities for people to have an idea and like you said, just do it and create it without needing to wait for a AAA to pick it up or they can just sort of start hashing it out themselves and finding space for it. So there's a lot new niches, and there's a lot of people creating silly ideas that, if I was an investor, I'd be like, no. And then as soon as it's actually pitched or kind of moving forward, it's like, wow, that was an interesting one that I didn't see coming. So yeah, I think we're in a really great place right now with regards to having the opportunity to grow. I don't think anything is stagnant right now. So
yeah, I think that's amazing. And one thing for 2025, I've noticed there's a lot of unicorn games. And by unicorn,
yes.
I mean like games that just blew up, that are like 1 dev, 2 devs, 5 devs, just have blown up out of just it's amazing to see that. So what's one simple thing viewers can do today to support WIGI's mission?
Yeah, go check us out at getwiggy.com. Sign up for our newsletter. We have a Discord. Join our Discord if you want a mentorship, or if you want to be a mentor. Lift as you climb. If you have a job you're trying to fill, let us know so we can help post it. If you're looking for a job, let us know. We'd be happy to help set you up with a mock interview, a portfolio review, resume review. Know how to ask for the support that you need, and just ask, and then let's fill in the gaps and help you move forward.
Yeah, because the worst thing someone can say is no, right? Right? That's the worst thing. If you ask for support, and a lot of people will not say no. So thank you so much. And we appreciate you coming in here. Nudicus, that's awesome. Nudicus in IndieGameBusiness. I looked up the IndieGameBusiness. That's like 3D printing stuff, which is really cool. But thank you so much. Thank you, Joanie. Everyone have an amazing weekend. Make sure, and if you're not in our Discord, discord.gg/IndieGameBusiness. You can also check out IndieGameBusiness.com. We've got merch, we've got cool stuff, and definitely check out Women in Games International and show some support there. Be a mentor, be a mentee, volunteer, because need some help there. Always need some help, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.